We'll just listen to this. Over 5,000 new cases so far, with 11 new deaths, 31 new in Oasis County. 11.1%. We're over 10% since the 13th. And we're over 2,000 ICU. And look at this. 62% is probably the same thing. 21.3 and 17.9. But the whole thing with this is to make sure that doesn't happen. The whole thing with this is to try and make sure everyone gets safe and not go through the same thing. So how's our schools doing? Well, 19th and the 20th, 0. So that means we probably almost have a pattern here. Yeah, we probably almost have a pattern here, or what goes on. But gas prices and baby formula have been the cause of the pandemic. And the judge blocked CDC from ending Title 42. So after the 2 years here, what do we know about a Title 42? Can I move forward a plan to discontinue pandemic-related emergency issues that allow U.S. border agents to repel home country's public health violence? A federal judge in Louisiana ruled Friday. But there is this one video I wanted to show you, so let's take a look at that video. And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna go get something to drink. So y'all can listen.
Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on this Thursday night. Tonight, some news for parents with small children. A top health panel is recommending kids 5 to 11 get a COVID booster. It comes as the pandemic is rearing its ugly head once again. More than 2 years since it began, infections are on the rise nationwide. Just in the past month alone, COVID cases have soared more than 168%. Some health officials are concerned that this could be the beginning of the fifth wave. About 1/3 of the nation lives in areas where COVID infections are at medium or high risk levels. Public health officials are urging some communities with rising cases return to stricter pandemic measures, including those indoor masks. New cases are nearing 100,000 per day, with the Memorial Day weekend just around the corner. We have a lot of news to get to tonight, and CBS's Nikki Batiste will start us off tonight from Connecticut. Good evening, Nikki.
Nora, good evening. Those Pfizer booster shots for children ages 5 to 11 could be available at this pharmacy and others across the country as soon as tomorrow. There is an urgency for parents here in Connecticut. COVID cases have jumped more than 100% in just a month. COVID concern skyrocketing. Nationwide, hospitalizations are on the rise in 40 states. Cases are up in 41 states.
The reality is much worse because we're undercounting COVID cases. Many people are testing at home, using at-home rapid tests, and many people are not testing at all.
There's also deepening concern among parents. The American Academy of Pediatrics reports that cases among kids have climbed 76% in the past 2 weeks. Late today, a CDC scientific panel voted to recommend a third dose of the Pfizer vaccine for children ages 5 to 11, even though only 28% in that age group have gotten their first 2 doses.
This current wave of infections among kids could well land a lot of kids in the hospital.
In Connecticut, COVID cases are up nearly 118% in the past month. That's where Bridget Touchard is raising 2 young immunocompromised kids. Both 5-year-old Teddy and 3-year-old Liza have type 1 diabetes.
Vaccine is so important to us because it's basically another tool, another weapon in our arsenal to keep them safe. It's been wildly stressful the way that I think all parents are dealing with the unknown that is doubled or maybe even tripled for us.
Her son got his 2nd dose last month, just before his 5th birthday.
Do you feel like parents are only thinking about their own child? I do. The vaccine really does save lives and protect lives.
The CDC panel recommended today that kids ages 5 to 11 get their booster at least 5 months after their 2nd dose. The FDA has said a COVID vaccine for children under 5 could receive emergency use authorization in June. Nora?
Such important information. Nikki Batiste, thank you so much.
And important information for parents and parents of kids as well. Well, coming up next, Katya Uriarte fired from Channel 6. Well, now remember, she was on KHLI for years. Then she got moved to Channel 6. Now she was fired. Why was she fired? We'll tell you when we return. Up front tonight, it's not often we do stories about reporters, except for that one time I talked about John Rapolo. Now, if you don't remember John Rapolo, he was that guy who got fired for his voiceover doing the F it, lick it, smell it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, now let me play you a clip. I mean, John Rapolo, for those who don't know John Rapolo, he is the guy from Channel 10 with the, he's one of the great reporters. Now, he was fired. He was fired for what he did with his voiceover. Now, hang on a second here. Now, when I first heard about this story, I was like, no way could a news reporter. He was just probably testing his voice. I think I found it. Let me play your clip. Take a look.
Fuck it, lick it, smell it.
We do apologize for that.
That could be Rapolo. Now he was fired because of that. And now, first there was Rapolo. Then there was Sonia Hill. If you know who Sonia Hill is, she was a USA model, whatever, for what she did. here is this is what back in 2020. This was during the pandemic. It said former anchor Sonia Hill for Chris 6 News says she was let go because she had never experience in news broadcasting. She figured that she had 6 years to her career reporting for the sister Action 10 News. So, and now we have this. According to Chronicle sources, Chris TV/KZTV, of course, his topic, and Katya RT is gone from the station. Chris TV brought Katya over from KHLI, and word is she was making a lot of money for that size market. Now it appears that the station decided to part ways with her, and the staff told late yesterday. Sources tell Chronicle the station in tears. Also, a long-time sports writer Harlow, which I've met, has just announced his retirement. Some inside station that Harlow was pushed towards the exit. Katya was subject to chronic investigations due conflict of interest with her husband, John Filipello. If these accusations are true, maybe she wouldn't have been fired for a good reason. But if I had her on the show, let me tell you something. I have wanted to meet her almost over 10 years ago. I wanted to shake her hand and say, what an honor it is to meet you. Now if I do this, it would be a Give Me a Break first. A Give Me a Break exclusive. Katya Iriarte on Give Me a Break for the first time ever since this. If it is true, maybe the station could give me a statement regarding that issue. Now, what about Mike Glaspia? I'm not going to go into full detail because he's been in front of Facebook. I don't want to. He's in front of Facebook. I don't want to throw him under the bus. And because if you work with a news station, you don't ask classified info because that can one day kick your ass. And 14 comments were like, money was greener, but grass certainly wasn't, like Katya. First of all, I looked it up, and it says her husband is Danny Lopez. Okay. But, still, there's no reason why something like this should happen. I mean, there's still answers to the questions, like, why would they fire her? Did she have a relationship with... Like, there's still many questions. Did she have a relationship with John Filipello? Why would they let her go when she had so much money? Those are just some of the questions I tend to get to the answer of. So in the future, a Give Me a Break investigation into firing of news reporters. We're looking at Katya Iriarte and Sonia Hill. We looked at Sonia Hill because she was not talented enough. I mean, are you crazy? Fire her because she wasn't good enough? That's discrimination. You can fire someone for not doing a good job. If they're not doing a good job, you can let them go. But because you're not pretty enough, you're not talented enough, that is discrimination. That right there is discrimination. As much as me spending $35 on the complete series of The Land Before Time. You think this is the joke, do you? Me spending $35. I wanted to do that for one reason, is because I wanted to complete the whole Land Before Time series. And I did. Did I think it was a waste of money? Absolutely not. I love her to death. I loved her reporting, her style. Doesn't matter what she wore me. Unlike Kristen Waller, who I reported on, she had a bell dress on, and a lot of people criticized her because of what she did. That is a form of bullying. So, in this one, I think Chris Communications is bullying her. And you're probably going to be saying, well, I work for Channel, I used to work for Channel 6. Are you accusing... I work for... People are going to come out here saying, oh, I used to work for Channel 6. Are you claiming that we're bullying her? Not exactly. What I'm claiming here is that you better back up... You have to back up your reasons why you fired her and have her leaving in tears when she had a lot of money. She was a great reporter for KHLI. She was a great reporter for you guys over 4 years ago, and now all of a sudden, you're throwing her in the drain. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. And to think that I've met two of the great reporters, two sports reporters. Wanted me three, but I stuck with two. Michelle Mark, Annie Sabo, and the legendary Alan Harwell. And Art Mack. I met Art Mack when I was a kid. And now, looking at this story, I'm not even sure I want to watch them anymore. Now Taylor Onies could be the great, is now co-anchoring with Pat. And probably no need to slander her. I think she'll do a great job of co-anchoring. When we come back, filling up our carbs for the marathon here, we're gonna show you what you can have. We're gonna show you some. We're gonna take you to a pasta restaurant that shows them fueling up on the carbs, and believe me, that cannot help you jog and probably not hydrate enough. We have enough water. We'll be right back. Now for an update on the Oxford trial. Now this is something we have not pointed out on Give Me a Break Wednesday. On Give Me a Break for Wednesday. Former Mr. Joe Biden desiring to feign the head of the dead bird and questions for literacy and pot and alcohol use. Lawyer responded to James Kramer attempting to block up every information when the couple's coming trial. Defense attorneys and the parents accused shooter also found motion to toss the involuntary manslaughter charges the DO face, as well as restrict public statements made by the prosecutor. The contents of Ethan's journal reveal the mental state of the teen in the months leading up to the mass shooting, where 4 students died and 7 others were injured. But attorneys Meryl Lang and Sharon Smith contend that since Ethan Crumley will not be testifying, his parents weren't aware that he wrote that it would be inappropriate to include details from the journal. References to Sleepy Joe Biden may introduce political bias due to its accusation with former President Donald Trump, the attorneys wrote. Aside from the journal, defense also requested several pieces of evidence discussed in preliminary hearings and in the media reports. But the prosecutor referenced to the head of the bird that was not kept in the jar during the early stages of investigation. It became a focal point as authorities tended to gouge the mental state of Ethan Crumley. So, and now, according to the New York Post, the heartbroken mother, Shailene, one of the teens killed in the November mass shooting at Oxford High, walked up on stage Thursday night on behalf of her son in front of a teary-eyed standing ovation would have been at graduation. So that's a great update for them. If you want to watch the graduation, we will have that in the description below. That's a great way to update on. Give Me a Break continues in just a moment. The beach debate is happening tomorrow, which is today in Corpus. Are you planning on going? Are you being hydrated? What about eating carbs? Well, if you want to see traffic going by Frank's Spaghetti House, you would have seen runners trying to gouge in on that chicken Alfredo. Or eating that garlic bag while drinking that you get the picture. Here's Bill Churchwell. Did you get the picture yet? Well, here's Bill Churchwell.
Notice a little extra traffic out there today. There's good minute preps for the race, and the key word here is carbs. It's keeping local restaurants busy, especially those that serve pasta. Our Bill Churchwell reports.
After 2 years, Beach to Bay is back and runners are pumped for the big event.
Definitely excited to get back out there running.
On the campus of A&M Corpus Christi, folks spent time picking up everything they needed for race day, with plans of fueling up with a good pre-race meal.
Pasta, some of us like chicken, grilled chicken, salmon.
This competitor is talking about what has become a tradition for some, loading up on carbs the night before, the ultimate way to prepare.
We've had a lot of phone calls, pre-ordering, trying to get tables already available.
Brianna Gonzalez, the general manager for Mesquite Street downtown, says Beach to Bay weekend serves up big business.
We do a lot more prep than we normally do. We have our kitchen here full staffed. We call in extra people if we need. We have extra people on our pizza as well.
Runner Bree Newman from San Antonio shared her pre-race strategy.
I would say for the 4+ miles that I'm doing, I'm not going to do a full carb load like I was running a marathon tomorrow, but I'm going to incorporate some bread and some carbs and some french fries tonight just to get up some energy for tomorrow.
Others plan to go big in search of all the carbs that will help them on their journey from Padre Island to the Corpus Christi Bayfront, including this couple. They're running the full 26.2 miles themselves.
Today I had a beer that's a carb load, and we'll probably get some pizza or something tonight.
Good excuse to me, I don't know.
Island Italian on Padre Island is also seeing an increase of business and is thankful the race has returned.
We've missed it.
It's where cooks are serving up plenty of pasta.
It's been bringing business to the island for as long as I can remember. We've been here for 35 years. The Friday before Beach to Bay for us with carbohydrates is unbelievable. We get super, super busy.
Doing their part to make sure runners start off on the right foot and help them power through. Good luck to all of this year's teams. Bill Churchwell, 3 News.
Oh,
Yeah, good luck getting up a badass. Get it out. But seriously though, high carbs, that could really, it's true. If you exercise, you burn carbohydrates first and then fat. But if you're running out there like in the Beach to Bay, what is the runner's diet? Here are 15 foods for runners. And you better take note of this next year when this next year beach run. You better take note of this. And I hope you get a pen and paper. You better write this down, stock up on food, and make sure you know what you're doing. Don't go over to Island Joe's or Mesquite, get those high carbs in. Like bananas, high carb energy boosters like potassium, those high carbs, pasta, okay, high carbs. This bananas are part of high carbs. Oats. Healthy adults are getting about 50% of his or her total energy from carbohydrates. Peanut butter. They're talking pure peanut butter that adds like sugar, or oil. Try putting peanut butter in whole grain toast with banana slices. It's amazing. Broccoli. Okay. A great vegetable. It's full of vitamin C. Best for runners. Studies show that vitamin C help reduce the risk of present sore muscles after intense workouts. It's a good source of calcium, folic acid, and vitamin K to strengthen up your bones. Broccoli tastes great with tofu, salmon, or lean beef, or chicken. I recommend you do chicken and broccoli with rice. Yogurt. 85% meaning a high percentage of essential amino acids, which cannot be synthesized by the body. Dark chocolate. You ladies out there with your chocolate and all, you love chocolate, get yourself some dark chocolate. But as usual, it also comes in portion size, 2 or 3 squares or chocolate plenty when combined with a handful of nuts to help you beat the mid-afternoon slump. Whole grain pasta like we talked about. I didn't say give me a break to that. They were right on number 7, the whole grain pasta. Okay. When buying pasta and bread for that matter, make sure to choose a whole grain variety like these over just spilling your muzzles or whatever. Coffee, titers, them French fries, them tater tots, and French fries, titers, tater tots. Coffee, good cup of coffee can help. Beet, ginger, good for the digestive system. Eggs, flax seeds. Legumes. The 4 fiber foods to help are fruits and vegetables, legumes, whole grains and whole grain products, seeds, dried fruit. And there's also 12 of the best foods for runners. You've also got your bananas, your orange juice, your almonds, your lean beef, your eggs, like we talked about, salmon, okay? Whole grain cereals, bread and pasta. That's good. Sweet titers, kale, cherry juice, low-fat yogurt, skim milk. But there are some tips for like how to feed a runner. Like you need to eat more, fight the hunger, try and try again. Like you gotta remember all that. And there's also 9 foods for trainers. Like there's also quality protein powder, Greek yogurt. There's also eggs, fresh frozen fruits and vegetables, oats, beans, quinoa. It's 2 to 1. 2 parts liquid, 1 part quinoa. Nuts. Pasta, bananas, oatmeals, breakfast cereals, water, good, cereal bars, rice, fruits and vegetables, lean meat and fish. That's good. So those, but I don't have to say give me a break to that. I mean, high carbs mean, it's like you're right. When you exercise, you're burning both carbohydrates and fat. But I want to talk about hydration. Because the summer is coming up, the heat indexes are high, and nobody's doing a goddamn thing but going over to the nearest salt water, drinking that salt water, and waiting until their throat dries up. I tell people all the time, make sure you stay cool and hydrated. Get a lot of water. I drank like a pint. The other day I drank like 4 liters of water, which is good. Really, you're supposed to have 8 glasses a day. But a lot of people want to go for the other ones, like the tea and the soda. That could even get you more dehydrated. So if you plan on going to the beach today, make sure you just get yourself an ass load of water. Even if you spend $100 on a lot of water, fuel your ass up. And believe me, I ain't going that run, but I can't even jog while playing the guitar. You know what it'd be like? Be like, that would be the day I'd run while playing the guitar. I'd fall and trip. Cut it out. Yeah, thank you. Cut it out. Hey. Little Full House joke. And for listening to these tips, if you want to learn more about how to control if you want to learn more about the foods you can eat to help you jog better, and for tips about this, you log on to the Give Me a Break website. The address is givemeabreak.substack.com. So it's great that the Beach to Bay is coming. So that's great. I'll be back in a moment. Did you pay that property tax deadline? If you don't, listen.
I believe our taxes are too high, and I'm here to protest and see what I can do for them.
Teresa Oliveras was one of dozens waiting in the tax appraiser's office today to file a protest and contest the county's appraisal of her property. Sharon Chatter knew the deadline, but was actually working on appealing a previous protest of her taxes.
I came to protest my taxes. They went up, and I was unhappy.
Because they were mailed out late, and by code, taxpayers have to have at least 30 days to file.
Terry Nowak, the taxpayer liaison for the Nueces County Appraisal District, says many people thought the deadline was the same as last year, which would have been this past Monday. She says you have to have your protest form postmarked by midnight tonight, and you could get an extension.
Include with it a short note about why they are protesting late.
Chief Appraiser Ronnie Canales says he's not surprised by the large number of protests.
There's some areas here in the county and Oasis that are basically in the high 30s to 44%, 42%, 41%.
For James White, his protest about his property appraisal was successful. He bought a building the appraisers classified as an active commercial business, and he was only using it for storage.
And reduce the price from $25 a square foot to $10 a square foot for storage.
So that saved you a little dough. The best advice continues to be to file a protest if you disagree with the appraisal. Brian Burns, 3 News.
Thanks, Brian, for that great advice. And if you want more tips about this, we'll also have that on our Give Me a Break website, which is givemeabreak.substack.com. That's all for this edition of Give Me a Break Friday going to Saturday. We'll see you again for Give Me a Break Saturday morning and Saturday night. For all of us here at Give Me a Break and YouTube, all around the world, every viral video that you can find, stop bullying, speak up. Good night.